Hello, REALTOR University Master of Real Estate students. In this video in the series, REALTOR University LibTips, a series where we present common student research scenarios and provide quick and easy solutions, we will cover how to properly format figures and tables in APA 6th edition format. It's important to note that tables and figures have a lot of requirements, so you'll definitely want to refer to the APA Publication Manual 6th edition or the most recent edition when you watch this video to make sure that you understand all of the rules that apply to tables and figures. This is just going to be a quick and dirty tour of the basics that will probably work for most of your papers. If you're working on your capstone or final research project, you'll definitely want to refer to that APA 6 manual and make sure that everything is copacetic. There are a few standards for both figures and tables in APA format that you generally want to consider before even using a table or a figure in your papers and assignments. So you want to ask a few key questions. The first question you should ask yourself is, does the table or figure add substantive information to your paper? So is it really going to help the reader better understand what it is that you're doing and trying to convey with the picture, or would be better give the reader more clarity if you left it out? Is a figure or table the best way to communicate the information? Sometimes visuals really do help the reader understand an idea or a concept, and other times they distract. Make sure you take that into account when you decide to use figures or tables. You also want to ask, does the figure or table adequately capture the essential information without distracting the reader? So you don't want to have something that's extraneous or is tangential to your topic. You want to make sure that the figure adequately conveys your ideas, and then you go on in your paper to explain how the figure conveys your ideas or the table. In the APA manual for both figures and tables, it gives checklists that you may want to refer to when you're looking at tables and figures. And it has a series of questions similar to these but a little more specific. Definitely consider checking that out when you're working with tables and figures. Figures can include a number of different types of images or graphics. So they can include graphs, charts, maps, drawings, photographs with visual representations of information. A couple notes about formatting figures in APA 6th edition. The caption goes beneath the figure. The figure is labeled numerically. The figure number is italicized with a period. And then the caption is not in italics sentence case. If you need to more about this, you can see APA 6th edition 5.23. Following the figure and a number, include a caption phrase that is brief but descriptive. For figures, one may use sans serif font. An example would be Arial font. So now we'll take a look at an example of a figure within an APA paper. Here we've got an example of an APA formatted paper that includes a figure. The figure here was created in Microsoft PowerPoint, and it's a graphic or a visual. It has arrows and a flow process. It's clearly not a chart. There are no columns or rows. It's a figure. Below, you've got figure 1, because this is the first figure in the document, in italics, period. And then in sentence case, you have a caption that explains the figure, in sentence case ending in a period. Proper nouns are capitalized. First words after colons are capitalized. Everything else is lowercase. Tables typically include canonical data or data formatted in columns and rows. It makes you think of Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. So if it's something that you would typically see in a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet or format, that would be a table. Tables have different formatting than figures. Table number and title go above the table. So that's what's different is in figures it's below, in tables it's above. The table is labeled numerically. The table title is in italics, one line below the table number. The table title should be brief but descriptive with no period. So I've come up with an example. I just put one into one of my papers. I will show that in just a moment. So here's a table I've created. You can see on its own line it has the table number. Below, it has the title of the table in italics. And then you can see the table. This is something that you typically see in an Excel spreadsheet. I actually created it in an Excel spreadsheet. I used Arial sans serif font. In APA, you may want to double check the rules on that, but from what I understand, you can use sans serif font for tables and figures. Oftentimes you'll also see a note below the table that explains anything that may not be clear. So there are a lot of rules, as I mentioned, about tables and figures, about how they're titled. You want to make sure that everything is, pretty self-explanatory. You don't want anything vague or ambiguous in your tables, any vague or ambiguous titles. It should be very clear to the reader what it is that you're trying to convey with your tables and figures. That concludes this video in the Realtor University Library's LibTips video series. Stay tuned for future videos in this series where we will cover a variety of research and writing topics of interest to Realtor University students. And of course, please do not hesitate to contact us for research guidance, ideas, and much more. We also have a writing center for help with papers and assignments.